Shalom. Preacher Kyle from GMS Arkansas Camp. First of all, foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to my elders at GMS who rule well. And Barakatham and salutations to all you Akib out there that's pushing this truth and sincerity and strength to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Back again this week with a lesson. If you've seen the site, last week I done a lesson on occupations, advocate, and I did that lesson, and I'm trying to do ongoing lessons because when we on the highways and byways, you have idiots that come up, people who are not learned when we speaking the truth out there. The phrase that like to come out of their mouths are, "Why don't you go get a job?" And they say this all the time. And I'm pretty sure brothers in different camps have heard this. So the Spirit just jumped on me to go into different topics showing that we have jobs, right? Even though we have jobs that we working for Esau, even in the scriptures, we still have certain jobs. We've always had different jobs. Like last week I did one on being an advocate, like a counselor. So this week I want to go into this word here, slave. Because being a slave, that's a job also. And I want to zoom in. And give you the definition of the word slave. It says slave. Let's go down to this definition, it's better. Right here, a person who is the property of another. The person who is a property of another. That's what a slave is. Because when you become property of somebody else, they're gonna make you do whatever they want you to. And normally when you're the property of somebody, it's always with they've already bought you with like a price. And that's how it's been for the nation of Israel. Through these different captivities that we've been through, we've been bought, just conquered, or either bought with a price or conquered. Even in America, when we came to America on cargo slave ships, man, we were sold on auction blocks. So for you people out there to be saying get a job, you don't even understand that you're a slave right now in 2013. This is from the World English Dictionary. It says, a person legally owned by another having no freedom of action or right to property. A person who is forced to work for another against his will. This was a transatlantic slave trade right here. Right? And it says a person under the domination of another person or some habit of influence. A slave to the television. Because this is like right now, man, because we're influenced by Esau's ways, man. And Esau gets a lot of his influences through the television. Because you, Jake, sit there in front of the TV and you believe everything you see in front of you, hook, line, and sinker. Instead of getting into the scriptures, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and finding out the truth. It says, number 4, a person who works in harsh conditions for low pay. Like, if you ever worked at a sawmill or a paper mill, those are harsh conditions. Every time you go on one of those jobs, man, it's a possibility that you can lose your finger, your arm, or lose your life when you're on those jobs like sawmills and paper mills. Or if you ever worked out in the what we call down south, we call the lumber yards. We call it the billy woods, where you go out there in the trucks and you cut down trees and haul them out of the woods and bring them back to the sawmills, man. That's a dangerous job, man. That's real dangerous, man. So even these stupid Edomites who come by the camps and they actually say get a job, they don't understand that they're being influenced by their own people. They're legally owned by the elites. Because they don't understand they have what's called a birth certificate, a warehouse receipt. You have a SSN number. you're owned by somebody else, man. You're owned by the elites. And that they don't even understand. So, being a slave, man, that's a job within itself, man. Because when you go back through every, major ancient civilization, they depended heavily on slaves, man. Like when you go back to the Egyptians, man, they depended on slaves because when you depend on when you were in rulership, you depended on the slaves to build your kingdom the way you wanted to be built. So they depended on slaves, They conquered the people and it gave them tasks, and then they had taskmasters to watch over them to make sure they got those jobs done, like our people, the Israelites, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we was enslaved under the Egyptians. That was a job for us. Forced labor. We worked in them fields, man. Matter of fact, this scripture right here. This is Exodus 1:8. It says, Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph, because Joseph was like he was like the right hand man to was it Ramses, and he was like an overseer, like a chancellor or whatever. But it says rose up a new king. He didn't know Joseph, and it says, and he said unto the people, Behold, the people, the children of Israel, are more mightier than we. He knew that we were more mighty than them. Right? Verse 10. It says, Come, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply and come to pass that they fall out in any Salaki. It says, Come, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply and come past that when they're falling out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, so get them up out of the land. So it says, therefore they did set over the taskmasters to afflict them with burdens. So look at the word burden. 54. A burden.
Strong's H 5450. Sivla. Second entry. Sevala.
It says forced labor, compulsory service. That's slavery, man. That's working under somebody, man. Having somebody stand over you, man. Worrisome. Somebody putting a whip to your back, making you work as fast as you can work until they tell you to stop. Let me go back. And this was the children of Israel, man, in Egypt, man. It says verse 12, it says, but the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel serve with rigor. Rigor is rigor. That's hardcore. Rigor is harshness.
Strong's H 6531. Perech.
Cruelty, severity, harshness. The conditions were bad. They dogged them out, basically. You know, and that's how you do your slaves, man. You work your slaves, man. You know, being a slave, that's not a glorified job, man. That's a harsh job. You're not supposed to like being a slave, man. You know, so it says, verse 13 again, in the Egyptians, it says, and the Egyptians made Israel to serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar and in brick, and all manner of service in the field. And their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. It was harsh, man. It was harsh being under them Egyptians, man. And we served in that captivity, man, like 400 and around 30 years, man, before the Lord sent Moses in there to lead the children of Israel from out of the clutches of Pharaoh. You know. So, you know, that's a job, being a slave, man. We've always had that job. Even when you look at, for another example, when you look at the brother Daniel, man, Daniel was brought into captivity under the Babylonians, man. But, you know, Daniel had that knowledge, man. Because of the knowledge, he was given a good job in, like, what's they call a government service job in the government. Because he was giving Nebuchadnezzar the interpretations of dreams, you know. So, matter of fact, we're going to pull that up right quick. Show you that scripture. I think that's Daniel's 2nd chapter. Somewhere around 45. Somewhere in there. Let's see. Start at 46 right there. It says, then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell on his face and worshipped Daniel, and commanded that they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him. Verse 47, the king answered unto Daniel and said, of a truth it is, that is your power is a power of gods, and the Lord of lords, and a revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldst reveal this secret. And it says, verse 48, verse 48, verse 48 says, then the king made Daniel a great man, and gave him many great gifts, and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon, and chief of the governors over all the wise men of Babylon. So Daniel, when you look at it like Daniel today, Daniel would have been like basically like vice president or secretary of state. That would have been like Daniel's occupation. You know, or he was over all the wise men of Babylon. Verse 49 says, then Daniel requested of the king that he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon. But Daniel sat in the gate of the king. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you know, they was over the affairs. So they'd have been like ambassadors, you know, like today. So these were Israelite men, man. They were slaves, man, but they were given spots in the government. And they also did that. Also, when the Roman Empire came, the Roman Empire did the same thing, man. They gave the slaves positions in their governments, you know. But it's just here in America, here in America where they don't want you to be next to them, you know. They just want you on the low end. If you're a token Uncle Tom, a token Stephen, then they might let you slide in, and they keep watch on the rest of the slave. You're like basically like a taskmaster, you know. You know, so because you know you had like let's get this scripture here. I know you got one good one in Exodus 20. Salaki. Exodus 21. Exodus 21 and 2. It says, if thou buy a Hebrew slave 6 years, he shall serve, and in the 7th year he shall go free for nothing. So have America let us free? No, we still in captivity under America. We've been around America roughly like 393, 94, 95 years. So we served like 50 times that, you know. It says, if thou buy a Hebrew slave, 6 years shall he serve, and in the 7th year he shall go free out from you. And when you read back in Genesis, the 29th chapter, Jacob did that same thing. Jacob actually, our forefather Jacob, worked for his uncle Laban 7 years, and his pay was he wanted Rachel, but Laban wound up giving him Leah, because it was the customary that the oldest daughter be given up to marriage first. So what Jacob did, he served 7 more years for Rachel. That's like, when you look at it, that's a hired labor, man. You know. You know, when he was finished with them 7 years, his pay was the female. You know. But Esau, man, he's so damn wicked, man. It says, if he came by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go with him. If his master gave him a wife, and she have borne him sons and daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out by himself. Hey man, that's like when you call yourself Esau and them marrying you, they always say by the power invested in me by the state of Arkansas. So basically Esau giving you a wife. When you have kids, what he do? When you have strife with your woman and she run back to Esau, her real lover, and he make y'all get separated, you got to pay for those kids, man. He put you out the house, and then you got to pay for the kids. So, man, this is way past wicked, man. Esau, man, this is verse 5. Verse 5. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out, then the master shall bring him into the judges. He shall also bring him to the door, and unto the door the post, and the master shall bore a ear hole through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. This is like that word awl. That's just like when you be branding cattle, man. It's a
Strong's H 4836. Matsea.
And it's like an instrument, a boring instrument. Put holes in your ear, you know. Just like Esau, and then when they branding cattle, they got a piece of metal with their names on it, and they put it in hot fire, and then they stick it on the cattle, and it puts a permanent brand on them, like a permanent mark. You know, puts a permanent mark on them to let you know ownership. So when they bore holes in the ear, that was him saying, you know, hey, I love you, Esau, man. I want to be with you forever, man. So it's being a slave is a job. It's not a glorified job. It's not a good job. You know, even in America, man, you know, these people don't realize that they're slaves, you know, and the killing part about it, they out here on these jobs working. When you go out here in America, when you work two weeks, and then they'll put your money in the what they call in the hole, and then you gotta work 2 more weeks to get paid. When the law says in Leviticus, right here in 13, it says, "Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning." So you're supposed to pay a hired servant. You're supposed to pay him when the job is finished at the end of the day, man. You ain't supposed to work nobody 2 weeks and put it in a hole, and then work them all week and then take taxes and pay them at the end of the week, or at the end of every 2 weeks, or some jobs every month. You're supposed to pay them when they work, when their job is finished at the end of the day, man. And that's what America don't do. You know? You know, when we read the scriptures, one thing about it, the scriptures don't condemn slavery, man. But, you know, it warns you of the warnings if you practice it. I mean, you know, but they don't really condemn it, because we had slaves when we was ruling with King David. We had slaves under us. When we ruled in the Dark Ages, we had slaves under us, man. You know. So it's not a real glorified job, man, but it is a job. And people don't understand that they're slaves right now in this system in America. So when you out there passing the men of the Lord, you look stupid when you tell us to go get a job. Because we already have that certain jobs that the scriptures, you know, we have given to us through these scriptures. Plus we all go out and work for Esau, man. You know, we carpenters, we delivery men, we cab drivers, we're doctors, you know, we're dentists, we're telecommunicators, you know, we're construction workers, we're truck drivers, you know, we're all those jobs, man. You know. So, you know, America, man, they're studied losing their precious riches, man. So when they lose their precious riches, what? You're gonna lose your slaves too. You know? And you're losing them. Pretty soon you're gonna be the slave. Matter of fact, wrong scripture. Salaki. Esau, you're gonna be the slave soon. When Yahweh Hashem Yahushua comes back and destroy America, you're gonna be the slave. You're gonna be the one taking orders, getting beat over the head. This is Revelations 18:13. And the cinnamon and the odors and the ornaments and the frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. Right? And slaves and souls of men. Because when you read, it says, when you read up, it says, when you go back up and read, it says, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her. She bewailed her and lament for her when she shall see the smoke of her burning. This is these elites when they see America burning. It says, standing afar off for the fear of the torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon. This is America coming from the Babal, meaning confusion. That mighty city, for in 1 hour thy judgment has come. That's the nuclear missiles raining on America. It says, for the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her. These Edomites, these elite Edomites, they're gonna mourn and weep over her. It says the earth shall weep and mourn over her, because the rest of the nations gonna weep because everybody comes to America to make money. They won't be able to come make no money no more. You know, it says, for no man buy their merchandise anymore. It says, the merchandise of gold, silver, and precious stones, and of pearls and fine linen, purple and silk, scarlet, and all thine wood, and all the manner of vessels, ivory, manner of vessels, of precious wood, and of brass, and of iron, and of marble, and cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men. And the fruits of thy soul lusted after all departed from thee, and all these things were dainty and good and departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. So all this is going to be taken from Esau. It says even slaves, man. So you won't be having us as slaves no more. You're going to be our slaves. We're gonna have you in slavery when that time comes. When that time comes, you'll be in slavery. Go back. Let me go back 3 chapters and read this, and then I'm gonna close up. Revelations 13 and 10. It says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Right, because Esau, you led us into captivity, the transatlantic slave trade. Even though Yahweh Shem Yahushua was punishing us, he allows you to do it, you led us into captivity. So that scripture saying, if you lead it into captivity, you will go into captivity. When America is destroyed, you will be, the elites will be chained and brought into slavery, and we will round up the Edomites from the other side of the world, because America will be totally destroyed, and we're going to put you into slavery, and you will serve hardcore bondage for 1,000 years, and then we will destroy the Edomites from out the face of the earth. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword, and that's what we're going to do to you. Starting with these race riots, you know. And then them nukes, when the nukes come, they're going to destroy America. Because you put your hands on us and you destroyed our people. You threw us over the boat for shark bait. You used our babies as alligator bait. You hung us in trees. You shot us down in the streets. All the way up until now, 2013. You still shooting us down in the streets, man. You know, you had the chief of police son just shot last August, a little Jake in the car in Little Rock. He just revved the motor and they shot him. Just about a month ago, they just shot a brother in the back over on 12th Street. So you still shooting us down in the streets, man. The Edomite just shot the little young Jake in New Orleans about a month ago. Right after all this, after the Trayvon case, just shot us down. You're still shooting us down. So you're gonna die by the sword, man. So the men of the Lord, the elect, man, scripture tells us we just have to have patience, man, because wait thee upon me, said the Lord, and it's gonna happen. So we just have to wait on the Lord, man, to give us that go, man. You know, and you will become a slave. That will be your job for 1,000 years, man. You'll be hired as a slave. So when you're out there on the highways and byways, and you not learn, you simple Edomites come up talking about go get a job, you just remember your job finna be slavery. And with that, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, and double honors to the elders of GMS who rule well, and Brakathum and all you Akim out there that's pushing this truth and sincerity and the strength of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. And with that, shalom.